My parents cornered me in their cramped living room on a Tuesday night, demanding I hand over everything I'd worked for to save my brother from his own mess. When I refused, my mother's voice went cold. "Sign the mortgage papers or you're no longer our daughter." By 2 a.m., I'd locked down every account they knew about. By sunrise, 37 missed calls lit up my phone like a Christmas tree. My name is Hazel Morrison, and I'm 26 years old. For the past decade, I've lived by one rule: never let anyone control your life through your wallet. While my friends were posting Instagram stories from Cancun and buying designer handbags on credit, I was eating ramen 3 nights a week and driving a beat-up 2008 Toyota Corolla held together with duct tape and prayer. Every sacrifice had a purpose. Every dollar saved was a brick in the fortress I was building around my future. That fortress now held $165,000. $165,000 earned through double shifts at diners, weekend bookkeeping gigs, and 10 years of telling myself not yet every time I wanted something that wasn't absolutely necessary. That money represented freedom, the kind where nobody could ever threaten me, manipulate me, or make me feel small again. But sitting in my parents' house that Tuesday evening, watching my older brother Derek shuffle his feet like a guilty kid, I learned that some people view your success as their personal ATM. "I need $100,000, Derek announced, not meeting my eyes. "Maybe 120 to be safe. Gambling debts. High-interest loans. Some people who aren't exactly understanding about payment schedules." He finally looked at me, his jaw tight. "I need you to write a check and co-sign a mortgage. It's my only way out." The air in the room turned thick. I could feel my mother's stare burning into the side of my face. My father shifted in his recliner, making that throat-clearing sound that always preceded him taking Derek's side in everything. "No," I said. The word came out smaller than I intended, so I said it again, louder. "No. That's my entire future you're asking for." My mother's face transformed instantly, her features hardening into something I'd seen 1,000 times growing up but never directed at me with such venom. "Family helps family, Hazel. That's not negotiable." My father leaned forward, his mechanic-stained hands gripping his knees. "You've always had it easier than Derek. Good grades came natural to you. You got that office job right out of college. Your brother's had a rougher road. He needs help." The words felt like slaps. Had it easier? As if the last 10 years of my life, the sacrifices, the exhaustion, the loneliness of choosing discipline over fun counted for nothing. As if working 50-hour weeks while taking night classes was some kind of privilege. "I worked for every penny," I said, my voice shaking. "I'm not throwing it away because Derek never learned consequences." Derek's face flushed crimson. "Never learned consequences? You self-righteous enough," my mother snapped. Then she turned to me, her voice dropping to that dangerous quiet tone. "Hazel Marie Morrison, you will help your brother. That's final." I stood up, grabbing my purse from the floor. My whole body was trembling. "I'm sorry about your situation, Derek. I really am. But my answer is no." I headed for the door. Behind me, my mother's voice rang out, sharp and absolute: "If you walk out that door without helping him, don't bother coming home. Ever." I kept walking. Growing up in a dying Rust Belt town in northeastern Ohio, the Morrison family looked ordinary enough from the outside. Dad worked at Jensen's Auto Body, coming home every night with grease under his fingernails and complaints about management. Mom cashiered at the supermart on Route 40, her name tag always slightly crooked on her blue vest. Derek, 3 years older than me, was the kid everyone expected great things from: star quarterback in high school, charming smile, effortless popularity. We lived in a 2-bedroom rental on Maple Street, the kind of neighborhood where chain-link fences separated tiny yards and everyone knew everyone else's business. To outsiders, we were just another working-class family grinding through life in small-town America. But inside those thin walls, I learned early that love came with conditions and price tags. I was in 3rd grade when I won the county spelling bee. I'd studied for months, flashcards spread across our kitchen table every night, memorizing words like chrysanthemum and phosphorescent. The championship round came down to me and an 8th grader. I spelled bureaucracy correctly while she misspelled conscience. The trophy was nearly as big as I was. I couldn't wait to show my parents. That's great, honey, Mom said when I burst through the door that afternoon, barely glancing up from folding laundry. Derek's got his playoff game tonight, so grab something to eat quick. We need to leave in 20 minutes. The trophy went on a shelf in my room. They never asked about it again, that became the pattern. Derek's football games, Derek's prom pictures, Derek's college recruiting visits, everything orbited around him. My straight-A report cards earned a "that's nice, sweetie." My acceptance letter to Cleveland State with a partial scholarship got filed away with the utility bills. But when Derek got benched for his senior season because of bad grades. Family crisis. Tutors hired. Teachers lobbied. The world stopped spinning until Derek was okay. By middle school, I'd stopped competing for their attention. Instead, I focused on what I could control: my grades, my plans, my escape route. At 14, I got a job at Riverside Diner on the highway outside town. The owner, a woman named Francine who wore her gray hair in a perpetual bun and called everyone sugar, taught me how to balance a tray with 6 plates, manage difficult customers, and most importantly, how to open a checking account. Every paycheck, put away half, Francine told me during a slow Tuesday afternoon shift. Don't touch it unless it's life or death. Future you will thank present you. My first paycheck was $143. I deposited $75. It felt like planting a flag on territory nobody could take from me. I worked every shift Francine would give me, riding my bike 5 miles each way along the highway shoulder, dodging broken glass and roadkill. Those greasy summer afternoons, memorizing orders and counting tips, taught me something my parents never did: I could depend on myself. I didn't need anyone's approval or attention to build something real. Meanwhile, Derek coasted through life on charm and excuses. Failed a test? The teacher had it out for him. Got fired from his job at the bowling alley? His manager was unreasonable. Crashed mom's car? The other driver should have been paying attention. My parents absorbed every excuse like gospel, finding ways to blame circumstances instead of choices. I watched them enable him, excuse him, rescue him, and I learned exactly what kind of person I didn't want to become. Cleveland State's urban campus felt like stepping onto a different planet. Glass buildings rose between patches of green space. Students from everywhere clustered around food trucks and coffee shops. I'd chosen business administration: practical, employable, a clear path to financial stability. But scholarships don't cover everything. Textbooks cost hundreds. My dorm room, shared with a roommate who treated college like a 4-year party, was cramped and always smelling like cheap perfume and stale pizza. The meal plan covered 2 meals a day if I stretched it carefully. So I worked 3 jobs, actually. Monday through Wednesday, I processed data entry for the university's administrative offices, 4 hours each evening at $11.50 an hour. Thursday through Saturday, I waitressed at Angelo's Italian restaurant downtown, working dinner shifts for tips that sometimes hit $100 on good nights. Sunday mornings, I cleaned offices in the business school for $15 an hour, scrubbing toilets and emptying trash while campus was quiet. My schedule was mechanical. Classes from 9 to 3, first job from 3:30 to 7:30, second job starting at 8. Weekends meant catching up on readings and picking up extra hours wherever possible. My roommate thought I was insane. "You're in college," she'd say, curling her hair before another party. "You're supposed to have fun." But I wasn't there for fun. I was there to build something nobody could take away. Every 2 weeks, I transferred 70% of my earnings into savings. I tracked every expense in a composition notebook with columns drawn in careful ink: $3.50 for coffee, $28 for used textbooks, $45 for lab fees. What wasn't absolutely necessary got cut. By sophomore year, I'd saved $32,000. The number felt surreal, like proof that I wasn't crazy, that all those sacrifices meant something. I started reading personal finance blogs, learning about index funds and retirement accounts. I opened an IRA and began contributing small amounts, watching my money multiply through compound interest. My parents called sometimes. The conversations followed the same script. "How's school?" "Fine." "Staying out of trouble?" "Yes." "Good, good." They never asked about my jobs, my grades, my future. Derek had dropped out of community college by then and was living at home, working part-time at Dad's auto shop and spending most evenings at the casino. I graduated at 22 with a business degree, $58,000 in savings, and zero debt. Mom and Dad drove up for the ceremony, snapped 3 photos, then left early because Derek needed help moving his stuff after getting evicted from another apartment. After walking out of my parents' house that Tuesday night, I sat in my car in a Dollar General parking lot, staring at my phone. Text messages started flooding in. Mom, sign those papers or you're done. I mean it, Dad, you're making a huge mistake. Family doesn't abandon family. Derek. Hope you can sleep at night knowing you destroyed your own brother. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I drove home on autopilot, my mind racing, my chest tight. My apartment, a 1-bedroom in a decent neighborhood in Akron, had never felt smaller. I paced between my kitchen and living room while my phone buzzed relentlessly on the counter. Then I saw something that made my blood freeze. An email alert from First National Bank. Multiple failed login attempts detected on your savings account. My heart stopped. I grabbed my laptop, fingers fumbling with the keyboard. Someone had tried accessing my account. 5 attempts in the past 90 minutes, all with wrong passwords. The timestamps matched perfectly with when I'd left my parents' house. They'd tried to hack my account. Not asked. Not borrowed. Tried to steal. The realization hit me like cold water. They didn't just want my money. They felt entitled to it. Entitled enough to break into my account like thieves. I changed every password, enabled 2-factor authentication on everything, set up security alerts. My hands shook with rage and something deeper, betrayal, that cut straight through me. At 1 a.m., I called the bank's 24-hour customer service line. I need to freeze all external access to my accounts, I told the representative. No transfers, no withdrawals unless I'm physically present with photo ID. Is there a security concern? She asked. Yes, I said simply. By morning, my phone showed 37 missed calls. The voicemails were brutal. Dad. You ungrateful brat. After everything we've sacrificed for you. Mom. You're tearing this family apart. I hope you're proud of yourself. Derek, you're dead to me. Dead. I hope you're happy. I listened to each one, then deleted them all. But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I needed perspective. I called my friend Jenna, someone I'd met through work who'd become my closest confidant. We met at Bean and Brew, a coffee shop near my office, sitting outside despite the February chill. They tried to hack my bank account, I told her, wrapping my hands around my coffee cup. My own family. Jenna's eyes widened. Hazel, that's not family problems. That's financial abuse. The words hit like a physical blow. Financial abuse. I'd never named it before. You earned that money through years of sacrifice, Jenna continued, her voice firm but gentle. It's yours. Not theirs. Not Derek's. Yours. She didn't judge or lecture. She just listened, her presence steady while my world tilted sideways. That afternoon, I got a call from my cousin Brittany, someone I barely spoke to. Hey, I heard about the fight with your parents, she said. I thought you should know this isn't Derek's first time. What do you mean? Brittany sighed heavily. Derek's been gambling for 4 years. He drained Grandma Ellen's savings 3 years ago, $25,000. She never told anyone because she was embarrassed. Last year, he borrowed $12,000 from Uncle Jim and never paid it back. Your parents have been covering for him this entire time, bailing him out over and over. My stomach dropped. This wasn't an emergency. This was a pattern. Years of enabling, years of teaching Derek that consequences didn't exist because someone would always rescue him. Don't let them guilt you, Brittany said quietly. They chose this. You don't owe them your future. That night, I stood on my apartment balcony in the February cold, watching traffic lights change on the street below. My phone kept buzzing. I'd stopped answering. The texts kept coming. I'd stopped reading them. For the first time in my life, I let myself imagine something radical leaving. Starting over somewhere new, somewhere my past couldn't follow me. The idea terrified me. But it also felt like breathing after being underwater. I started researching that night. Jobs in other cities. Cost of living. Places where I could disappear into a fresh start. Austin, Texas caught my attention, growing economy, warm weather, far from Ohio. I'd never been there, which felt perfect. A blank slate. On Thursday, fate intervened. An email from my college friend Brandon, who'd moved to Austin after graduation and worked at a consulting firm called Lone Star Financial Group. Hey stranger, we're hiring financial analysts. $88,000 starting plus relocation package. Thought of you immediately. I read it 3 times. $88,000, a $14,000 raise, and 1,200 miles between me and my family. I applied within an hour. Meanwhile, pressure from my family intensified. Derek posted on Facebook. My sister has money but won't help her own blood when I need it most. Guess I know where I stand. The post exploded. Cousins I hadn't seen in years commented, calling me cold and selfish. Distant relatives shared it with their own judgments added. My phone filled with messages from people who'd never checked on me before, all telling me what a terrible person I was. I didn't respond. Engaging would only make it worse. But each message felt like another weight on my chest. On Saturday morning, someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole and saw my parents standing in the hallway. Mom clutched a manila folder. My stomach twisted. I opened the door. We need to talk, Dad said, pushing past me into my apartment without invitation. They sat on my couch like they owned it. Mom slid the folder across my coffee table. These are the mortgage papers. Everything's filled out. All you need to do is sign. I stared at the documents. Pages of legal text. My name already typed in as co-signer. They'd prepared everything assuming I'd cave. No, I said simply. Dad's face went red. Don't you dare no. My voice was stronger now, steady. I'm not co-signing. I'm not giving Derek my money. I'm done. Mom's eyes filled with tears, the manipulative kind I'd seen hundreds of times. How can you be so heartless? He's your brother. He's a grown man who made his own choices, I said. Those aren't mine to fix. Dad stood, jabbing his finger toward me. You're out. You hear me? Out of this family. Don't come crawling back when you need us. I won't, I said, walking to my door and opening it. Please leave. They left, Mom crying dramatically, Dad muttering about betrayal. I closed the door behind them and felt something unexpected, clarity. Not guilt. Not regret. Just crystal clear certainty that I'd made the right choice. On Monday, Lone Star Financial Group called. They wanted to interview me. Video call that Thursday. I said yes without hesitation. The interview went flawlessly. My experience, my work ethic, my certifications, everything aligned perfectly. By Friday afternoon, they offered me the position. $88,000 salary, $6,000 relocation bonus, start date in 3 weeks. I accepted before I could second guess myself. Austin in March felt like landing on a different planet. Warm sunshine after Ohio's gray winter. Palm trees and live oaks instead of bare branches. I'd rented a 1-bedroom apartment in South Congress sight unseen, trusting online photos and virtual tours. Walking into that empty apartment felt surreal. High ceilings, hardwood floors, windows that actually let in light. It was mine, paid for with my money, my choices, my sacrifice. Work at Lone Star Financial started immediately. The office was modern and bright, all glass walls and collaborative spaces. My team handled investment portfolios for small businesses, analyzing risk and optimizing returns. It was challenging work that demanded every ounce of my attention. Brandon introduced me around, making the transition easier. This is Hazel, the numbers genius I've been telling you about, he'd say. People smiled, welcomed me into projects, invited me to team lunches. I threw myself into work, proving myself with detailed analysis and creative solutions. My supervisor, a sharp woman named Caroline, pulled me aside after my first month. You're exceeding expectations already. Keep this up and we'll talk about senior analyst positions within a year. Senior analyst. The words felt like validation, like proof that leaving had been the right choice. Outside work, Austin slowly became home. I explored the city on weekends, hiking the Barton Creek Greenbelt, browsing bookstores on South Congress, trying breakfast tacos from food trucks. The air felt different here, lighter somehow. The heat was oppressive but honest, unlike Ohio's damp gray cold. I met people through Brandon. His girlfriend, Amanda, hosted a game night where I met other transplants and locals. We played Cards Against Humanity and drank cheap wine, laughing until my face hurt. It felt light and uncomplicated, so different from the weight of family dinners back home. But the past had hooks in me. I started seeing a therapist, Dr. Monica Garza, who specialized in family trauma. Her office was in a converted house downtown, decorated with warm colors and comfortable furniture. "Tell me about your family," she said in our first session. Everything poured out. Childhood invisibility. Derek's endless enabling. The ultimatum. The attempted account hack. Dr. Garza listened without judgment, taking occasional notes. "You were parentified," she said finally. "Made to feel responsible for problems that were never yours to solve. That's not your fault." Week after week, we unpacked the guilt, the manipulation, the years of being told my worth came from serving others. Dr. Garza gave me tools, boundary setting exercises, cognitive reframing techniques, self-compassion practices. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, she reminded me constantly. It's survival. 4 months into Austin, Brittany texted me, "Thought you should know your parents lost their house. Couldn't make payments after taking out a second mortgage for Derek. They're renting a small place now." I read the message 3 times, waiting for guilt to crush me. It didn't come. Instead, I felt sad for them, for the choices they'd made, for the consequences they were facing. But not responsible. Not guilty. They'd chosen Derek over financial stability. They'd chosen enabling over boundaries. Those were their choices, not mine. I texted back. "Thanks for telling me." That evening, I sat on my apartment balcony watching the sunset paint the sky orange and pink. I thought about Ohio, about cold winters and dying towns, about the family I'd left behind. And I didn't want to go back. 8 months into my Austin life, I'd built something real. My savings had grown to $178,000, the raise and lower expenses helping me save even faster. Work was thriving. Caroline had given me 3 major clients to manage independently, and I was crushing every deadline. My apartment felt like home now, decorated with thrift store finds and plants I'd somehow kept alive. I'd made friends, real friends who celebrated my successes instead of expecting me to dim my light. But I wanted more than just security. I wanted purpose. I started volunteering at Texas Financial Futures, a nonprofit teaching personal finance to low-income communities. Every Tuesday evening, I'd teach budgeting basics to teenagers and young adults at a community center in East Austin. The students were hungry for information: kids from struggling families, first-generation college hopefuls, young people whose parents had never taught them about money. One student, a girl named Destiny, reminded me of my younger self. Quiet, focused, taking notes on everything. After class one night, she approached me nervously. "I want to save for college like you did," she said. "Can you help me make a plan?" We met for coffee the next week. I walked her through opening a savings account, setting realistic goals, finding part-time work that fit her schedule. Watching her face light up as she understood compound interest felt better than any promotion. Then news from Ohio forced me to confront everything I'd left behind. Brittany called, her voice heavy. "Derek tried to kill himself last week." "Pills." "He's alive, but it was close." My breath caught. Whatever anger I'd carried toward Derek evaporated instantly, replaced by something more complicated: grief, worry, old protective instincts I'd thought were dead. "Is he okay?" I asked. "Physically, yes. Mentally, he's wrecked. The gambling debts got worse. Your parents are bankrupt. He feels like he destroyed everything." I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of it. "What happens now?" "He's in treatment. Inpatient gambling addiction program. Your parents are trying to get him into long-term rehab." I thanked Brittany and hung up, sitting in silence for a long time. Dr. Garza helped me process it in our next session. How do you feel? Sad, I admitted. But not guilty. I couldn't have fixed this. Giving him money wouldn't have fixed this. That's growth, Dr. Garza said gently. You can care about someone and still maintain boundaries. I thought about reaching out to Derek, to my parents. But I wasn't ready. Maybe I never would be. And that was okay. One Saturday morning, I got an unexpected email from Mom. Hazel, I know we haven't spoken in 10 months. I'm not asking you to forgive us or help financially. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry. We were wrong to pressure you like that. We were wrong about a lot of things. I hope you're doing well. Love, Mom. I read it 5 times, searching for manipulation. But it seemed genuine, raw and honest in a way I'd never heard from her. I didn't respond immediately. I sat with it, let it settle. A week later, I replied, "Thank you for the apology. I'm doing well. I hope you and Dad are finding your way through this. Take care." It wasn't reconciliation. But it was something. A door left slightly open, not for them to walk through, but for me to peek through if I ever chose to. Life in Austin continued. I got promoted to senior financial analyst. My savings crossed $185,000. I signed a lease on a bigger apartment with a view of downtown. Amanda and Brandon set me up on dates with their single friends. Some went nowhere, but a few showed promise. I kept teaching at Texas Financial Futures. Destiny got into UT Austin with a scholarship and a solid savings plan. She sent me a photo of herself on move-in day, grinning in front of her dorm. "Thank you for showing me this was possible," her text read. That night, standing on my new balcony, watching city lights sparkle below, I thought about the past year. Leaving Ohio had felt like running away. But it wasn't. It was running toward something better. I'd learned that family isn't just blood. It's the people who support your growth, respect your boundaries, celebrate your success. Brandon and Amanda, Jenna back in Ohio, Dr. Garza, the students in my classes, they were my family now. I'd learned that protecting yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. That no is a complete sentence. That your worth isn't measured by how much you sacrifice for others. Most importantly, I'd learned that you can love people and still choose yourself. You can wish them well and still walk away. You can carry grief and still move forward. My phone buzzed. A text from Destiny. Just finished my first college budget spreadsheet. Want to check it? I smiled, typing back, "Send it over." This was my life now. Built on my terms, funded by my work, surrounded by people who saw my value. The $185,000 in my account wasn't just money. It was freedom. Security. Proof that I could build something lasting. And nobody, not my parents, not Derek, not guilt or obligation, could take that away. I was finally, completely free. If you've ever faced family pressure to sacrifice your future for someone else's mistakes, know you're not alone. Sometimes choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Like and subscribe to join me on this journey of setting boundaries and building lives we're proud of. Thanks for listening.